Hi there, thanks for taking the time. In this video we'll be creating a nice dashboard using Panel and the Holoviz-MCP server. That's quite nice and looks probably a little bit like this. So this is a tutorial from the Holoviz-MCP documentation. So if you land in the Holoviz-MCP documentation, you would find it under tutorials and then weather dashboard. And we will start by providing some kind of context. Often, like for a use case, you would have some knowledge of data, of the use case, requirements, ideas, etc. And you would start out by providing that. We have some web page that it can explore or read, and we will ask it to do so. Then we will ask the Holoviz planner agent to plan the dashboard, and we will get like a plan out, hopefully. Then when we have the plan, we will just ask the agent to implement the plan, and hopefully we end up with something close to this that's already pretty awesome. We will test the dashboard and fix errors if there's any, and we might play around a little bit fine-tuning the dashboard, for example, adding more visualizations or styling the dashboard further. So there's a bit of prerequisites that we need to test that we have before we start out. So we need a basic understanding of Python, Panel, and data visualization concepts. We need the Holoviz-MCP Python package installed and configured. So I can test that. Like here in VS Code, we will have MCP servers, and here we would have the Holoviz server configured like this, and you can see it's also running. So it is there. We need VS Code with GitHub Copilot or another MCP compatible AI assistant. Yes, that we have. Then we have the Holoviz planner agent. Yes, we can select it down here, and there's like a tutorial on installing that. It's really just a command you need to run in the terminal. And yeah, we have the Holoviz-MCP server running. Okay, so let's get started. So we will ask the agent and a good model to read this website, the Vega website actually. So we'll just open that one. So it's this website about the Seattle weather dataset. So it's just nice to provide a little bit of information about the dataset. Yeah. Let's close this one again, and also this one. Okay, so you can see I have a technical problem. I can't use the fetch tool for some reason in VS Code, so it can't read this web page. It's not so important because this Seattle dataset is like very well known, so Claude Opus would already know it. But yeah, for your use case, if you have specific context to provide, that will help it a lot. Then we need a plan. So we want an awesome dashboard for exploring the Seattle weather dataset. We want to enable the user to filter multiple years, and the default year is 2015. We want some plots for temperature and wind grouped by year. We want a plot by weather type. We want a table with raw data. We want to use e-charts because they have like awesome transitions. We want to use consistent and modern styling for the plots and the page. And finally, we want to keep everything simple, clean, well organized, and well-tested code. So let's try this out. And yeah, we should pick the Holoviz planner here. So the planner don't create anything, but it will use the tools including the Holoviz-MCP to find useful information and make a plan. So you can see it starts thinking And then it uses the Holoviz-MCP server to get some skills, for example, for panel material UI or panel. And it searches for E-charts so that it can get to know E-charts. And yeah, it searches more widely for E-charts. So now it becomes more of an expert in panel material UI, E-charts. You can see it wants to know about tabulator. So tabulator is a component for displaying tables. It wants to know, about the E-charts pane, and it finds information about that component. And actually it wants a list of a lot of components so that it sort of knows what's available in panel material UI widgets. Blah blah blah. Now it writes information. There's a project structure, a data module, charts module. There's like a lot of design here going in. There's some like technical details about E-charts, and there's a little bit about like the page layout. And I think that's it. It is important for a real use case to take the time to read through the plan and maybe comment, ask for updates, improvements, etc. because it is the blueprint for your dashboard or your application. But when you are satisfied, then you can implement this plan. So we can do that. And here it's important to use the agent. And now we'll ask the agent to start. It will be working for some time here. So it's creating the different files, including test files and a requirements file. It's always exciting, right? Because it won't be the same process the next time I try. Some of the things that can be a little bit difficult is the virtual environment. And I might have to help it a little bit. So you will need to understand a little bit of Python and how to use the terminal, etc. to create a dashboard. So you can see here it is working. We have the Seattle weather. It has already created the data, right? And it will use the Vega datasets. And there's a lot of functions here that it will be using. But you can see it looks like pretty nice code that is testable and like documented and stuff like that. So it is close to something you could use for production. So now it starts creating the charts. You can see it's been considering what weather colors and year colors to use. And it creates these configuration files that returns dictionaries, right? Because when we work with E-charts, it is really a configuration dictionary that it will be creating. So there's one for the temperature chart, and there's one for the wind chart, and there's one for the weather type. You can see it's now created this app.py file. So the main thing is that it's created this like Seattle weather dashboard. And that is quite nice. And now it starts adding like test functions, so you can see it adds quite a lot of like tests. You can say right now we're just vibe coding, so I don't think we'll dig into the details of these tests, whether they're good and whether they're covering, but it is really good that it create some tests, and actually I hope we'll see it like running the tests, and if there's test errors then it will fix them, because then we have already like an application of a pretty high quality because the tests are working. But let's see. So it's still thinking, it's still creating files probably. Like if we go back to the plan, then yeah, it needs the test app file as well. So there's now a test app file. So it's really creating a lot of tests. So let's see what's happening. Yeah, so now it wants to run tests. It wants to pip install. Yeah. So you can see a lot of things are failing here already. Okay, that was quick. Actually, my experience is that the apps are, and the code is like almost working or working, like when it's created here, and it created like 58 tests. Again, we don't really know. We haven't inspected, reviewed the quality of these tests. But in my experience, they usually cover pretty well. Let's see if we can open the app and take a look. It looks like this. That looks relatively nice, right? There are some issues, but it looks nice. Let's test the dark mode, because sometimes there's issues with dark mode. Yeah. I think it's okay. I think I would like to give the e-charts pane a little bit of margin, because yeah, you can see there's a little bit of a difference between the color on the e-charts plot and then yeah, the paper background here. Yeah, but things seem to be updating pretty nice. Like if the data is correct, we would have to test and so on, but I don't see any immediate like issues. Yeah, so let's ask it to update a little bit. Please add set the e-charts pane margin to 10. So that's one thing. Please add a bit of margin / space between the e-charts plot title and the rest of the plot, because they overlap. I don't know if there's anything else I want to change. No, it's fine. So now I just ask the agent to directly update. If it's larger changes, I might ask the Holoviz planner to plan first, to do some research. For example, if it was some components that it really misunderstood, it might be better to use the Holoviz planner to like research that component first and then update. But these are quite small changes, so I believe it'll just figure it out. So it is adding these changes. It's always also a good idea to work with Git, and if you have working code, Git edit or something like that, so that yeah, you can always revert again. So let's just see. I don't really think we got the title here higher, but I think we got a little bit of margin actually. Let's just see what it did. So here we can see that it added this margin of 10, and yeah, maybe it should add a little bit more. Yeah, we can try. Yeah. So let's see what happens when we do this. We could update this ourselves, right? Because it will take a while for it to think now. Now it's small changes, and if you know how to do them, it might be faster for you as a human to do it. But yeah, I think it added more margin. I don't know if it really got yeah. It's because there's also like a subtitle here, and that's what we see. So the problem is here. We could continue iterating on it if we had the time. I think I will prefer to just stop here. Okay, thank you for the time.